coaching Missouri State. She had to replace 5 starters from last year's team that won 26. Missouri State coming in at 22-12. Stephen F. Austin at 25-9. And we are underway from Austin, Texas. And the first jump shot on the way, and a misfire by Dominguez, who came in averaging 13 a game.
Well, both teams playing well. Stephen F. Austin, they've won 10 out of 11. Missouri State, 7 out of their last 8.
For Mo State, their starting lineup presented by Capital One. They've got a big and Lady Douglas, who gets 14 a game. Washington, 8.6 rebounds a game. She was named to the Conference USA All-Freshman team. It's a very talented group. Going to get a jump shot in the air by James, who doesn't do a whole lot of scoring. A great defender. A rebound, the stick back won't go, and a fight for that. It'll stay on this end with the possession arrow.
Obi, it's a Missouri State team against this Stephen F. Austin harassing defense that wants to push the pace. They've got to run great offense tonight.
Lady Jack's starting lineup. Ashlyn Traylor Walker, who missed a ton of games after a scooter accident. She could be very, very important tonight, the 5'8" senior from Indiana.
The team in purple, 5 kids, average double figures. They don't have a superstar, well-balanced offense.
Washington up top. Beckemeyer lets fly, but can't hit it. Comes in averaging 17. She's a 1,000-point scorer. And Beth Cunningham, year number 4. And was an assistant to the great Muffin McGraw, Notre Dame, a team that won the national championship in 2018. She was also a great, great player there.
Yeah, left Notre Dame as the 3rd leading all-time scorer, still behind Enrique Ogunbowale and Skylar Diggins. Played at Notre Dame as Beth Morgan and knows all about the impact, the pressure that you face in March.
She's the mom of 3 girls and a boy, and they are all here, and they're all loving basketball. Beckemeyer can't hit that one. She's 0 for 2 out of the gate.
Well, for Missouri State, they can't turn the basketball over. They got to take good shots again. This team in purple, they're all about pushing the pace and scoring early in their offense. So Missouri State, the best transition defense for the team in white tonight is to run good offense and get good looks.
Lady Jack's looking a little bit nervous maybe. Key Roseby there, the sophomore out of Frisco, Texas, fumbling that one away. They've done that a couple of times in the early going. Faith Lee on the drive. Back out top, right on the half-court line, and a nice save by James.
Stephen F. Austin, 60% zone on the year, 40% man. Pretty much a 2-3 zone in the half-court.
Mo State very rarely gets a 3 in the air, and a nice pick on the play. The turnover forced by the Lady Jacks. On the drive, a little one-hander by Perry won't fall. So nothing going down early here in this first quarter. Douglas trying to get in close, around it up, but draws the foul, and she'll head to the line.
Yeah, she's coming off of a 15-point, 11 rebounds, 7 blocks in the finals in the win over Louisiana Tech. She's that long athlete on the inside. The Missouri State has to get good numbers from. They can't afford for this young lady to get in foul trouble. Not a lot of depth across this front line for the Lady Bears.
72% foul shooter Cha Gardner with the foul. We talk about Missouri State being a little bit different than your average Division I team shooting-wise, because they only get about 14 three-pointers in the air per game.
Yeah, they only make 4. It's very important for them to get to the free throw line. They are 11th in the nation, Missouri State, making 16 a game.
Traylor Walker getting inside, the 5'8" senior. Only played in 15 games because of that scooter accident, but she's big for them.
Yeah, she missed, what, the first 19 games. Back injury, dealing with a concussion, but probably one of their best downhill drivers, 4 in purple right there. Former Big South Freshman of the Year at Radford a few years ago.
And just committed that foul. 2-2 tie. Choppy start for both. Beckemeyer inside, draws the foul as she went for the window. She'll be shooting in a moment. Very good foul shooter at 84%.
Yeah, Obi Beckemeyer is so good at drawing fouls. Watching her on film, she gets to that free throw line 7-8 times a game. A local hero there in the Springfield area. An absolute superstar at Republic High School just outside of Springfield. All-time leading scorer. Grew up wanting to be a Lady Bear and living out the dream right now in March.
Well, Missouri State just had a terrific run in the Conference USA tournament to win it. in their first year in the league. They went in as the number 6 seed. They upset all 3 of the top seeds. Middle Tennessee, number 3 seed, after losing to them a week before. They survived a very close game against FIU, the number 2 seed, then took down the number 1, Louisiana Tech, to end their 19-game winning streak.
Yeah, no doubt. And they held Louisiana Tech in the finals to 38 points. Actually, 3 of the last 6 games from Missouri State, they have held their opponent to 38 points. This is where they win games, is on this end of the floor.
Stephen F. Austin, the Lady Jacks with the basketball. Down by 1, low scoring early.
Tremendous.
Out to midcourt and the defensive pressure. And it will go the other way.
Yeah, I say tremendous because I'm talking about ball pressure by Missouri State. They know who they are. They're not a hot offensive team. They climb up into you nose for nose. They create havoc and pressure on the ball. They turn you over. And Beth Cunningham, like you said, in her 4th year, she's got a team that just came off winning their tournament, beating the 1, 2, and 3 seeds. So a very confident group from Springfield to start this tournament.
Ashlyn Trailer-Walker heads to the bench for Leonard Bishop, whose dad was an incredibly successful high school coach. He's in the stands. He's also Leonard Bishop. He's in the stands here tonight to watch his son coach. He had an amazing 40-year career. Great ball movement, and in time, Gardner. But she is down and writhing in pain and grabbing at that ankle. She's the one who just made that shot right in front of the shot clock buzzer. And she is in real pain. 6:43 to go here in the first. And we'll see if Cha can continue, the sophomore from New York.
Well, I mentioned the lack of depth for Missouri State size-wise, and it's the same way for Stephen F. Austin. Cha Gardner at 6'3". You're going to see that right ankle come down on that foot. Yeah, roll that thing all the way out.
My.
If you've played the game, you've felt that pain before.
That's right. Every basketball player in America who's done that did the same thing you and I just did. Oh, my goodness.
From Newark Valley, New York, to Nacogdoches, Texas for her college career. Had a 17-rebound game this year against Hampton, and certainly hoping that this young lady's up and able to put some pressure on it.
Well, going to need help to get off the court. In fact, they're going to almost carry her. Wow.
Yeah, not putting any weight on that at all. And with a big part in advancing in March is, are you hot? Are you hungry? And are you healthy? That thing went all the way out to the outside. So wait to see if we can get any information from that bench. But putting no weight on it, OB, is not a good sign.
She's the number 2 shot blocker on a very good shot blocking team. Averaging 7.6 rebounds. She's had a 17 rebound game this season. And just now getting over to their bench area. They're going to take her right into the locker room.
So now true freshman Isaiah Ferrier checks in. And she's just right at 6'1". So the size for the Lady Jacks right now on the end of that bench. Ferrier's had a heck of a freshman year. Leading shot blocker in the Southland Conference, talking about 2 in purple, and she's going to have major minutes now at that 5 spot.
Dribble down, Becca Meyer will swish that one in. Just named Conference USA Tournament MVP.
Just a scores mentality that just knocks you around from all 3 levels on the floor on the offensive end.
Stephen F. Austin with a basketball. Up top, Ferrier with a touch. You mentioned 6'1". She's their number 1 shot blocker. And a foul here with 6:09 to go in the first.
Yeah, Beckenmeyer, 62 made threes on the year, coming in at 34%. And so good with that shot fake. You got to run her off the line. She got the side steps 3, the bounce at 3s. You can run her off the screens. Is a high IQ offensive player, 24 in white.
Really feel as she goes, that's how the Lady Bears are going to go tonight and in this tournament. Roseby with the drive, gets bottled up, and a turnover as she travels with it.
Yeah, Missouri State, they talk a lot about playing with a championship chest defensively, and they do a good job of squaring you up. They ice the side ball screens. Just a very well-coached defensive team under Beth Cunningham.
Washington will turn to fire, get a good look, follows their own miss. Inside, can't hit that one either. And it's Beckemeyer there on the spot to lay it in and put Missouri State on top 8-4. And a timeout, Stephen F. Austin. Well,
before zeros on the shot clock.
Scoring
that
change here.
Does not count.
They could use a little more of the duck here. At this point, they just lost 2 points because of a scoring change on a shot clock violation.
Well, if that duck had a voice in the timeout, and I'm sure the duck was talking about, we got to start taking care of the ball. Already 4 turnovers for Stephen F. Austin, and it's just that's not what you want to do against this Missouri State team. OB, they really struggle to score. So, man, don't gift it to them with turnovers.
Kaylin Kemp, nice feed downstairs for the bucket. And a good passer led the Southland in assists with 5 a game.
Really good two-man game. Ferrier, the true freshman, quick athlete.
And bounced in by Lainey Douglas, who gets 14.6 rebounds a game. They need her more involved, but a 10-4 lead for Missouri State and a tough drive again. That will lead to a foul at 5:04 to go.
Well, Ashman Traylor Walker, 4 in purple, is really good off any ball screen action, but she is terrific going to her right. And if you're Missouri State, you got to sit on that right hand, force her to do something with her left, ice the action when they're on the left side of the floor. It's hard to zero in on one player for Stephen F. Austin because, again, 5 kids, average double figures. They can all go get one on you.
Traylor Walker in their overtime win against Lamar in the conference tournament scored the last 6 points. She would be named to the all-tournament team. So after that nasty injury on the scooter, she's come back strong. Nearly stolen away midcourt, and it will be picked off. Traylor Walker on the drive will lay it in, turning that quickly into points.
They get that pressure defense set again. It's a 2-2-1 press, but it's a hot press. They're looking for turnovers. They typically drop back to zone. It's a 2-3 zone. Sometimes we'll switch to man within the possession.
Beckemeyer gave up the dribble. Hopkins up top. Looking for someone to bounce it to, and finally does get it to Douglas. Trying to use her size inside. She'll draw the foul. Barrier behind her, going for the block.
Well, that 2-2-1 press for Stephen F. Austin can ignite their offense. They are very good at taking away those middle passes. No habit passes against that press, or they will rip and run for an easy 2.
Their 18th tournament appearance. They actually participated in the first women's First Four that year in 2022.
Think about how great that performance was for Jackie Stiles. 41 points in that win against Duke. Still 20-something years later, the 9th best performance in the women's tournament. There are some talented players this year that could eclipse that 40-point mark.
Lainey Douglas gets 1 of 2. So Missouri State with the 11-8 lead, and a Lady Jacks with the ball for Stephen F. Austin. Looking for their 26th win of the season here tonight. The winner to take on the powerhouse Texas Longhorns. Kemp on the drive and denied by Douglas. And they'll get it back, but it, of course, never got to the rim, so 8 to get off a shot. Perry will launch. Got a good look, but couldn't hit it.
Well, they rely on the 3 ball, Stephen F. Austin. Coming in making about 9 a game, 37%. It's a big part of who they are.
Douglas, another touch, left it short. Second effort by Beckemeyer. Douglas had given up on the play and started back to midcourt after she missed her shot, and a foul here.
Well, some players just have a nose and a knack for the ball, and that describes Kaylin Beckemeyer. Again, one of the 7 in the country. This young lady to hit those numbers we talked about early. Over 570 points this year, 270 rebounds. The shortest in the country to do it. She's just 1 of 3 in the country, OB, that also backs it up with over 170 made free throws. So they rely on her, and she delivers. Interesting talking to her today. That's a unique first name, right? Kaylin Beckemeyer. I said, have you ever been to the Cayman Islands? She said, absolutely. That's where I chose to go for my senior trip because of my name. I wanted to go to the Cayman Islands. Smart decision.
Very smart player.
Yeah.
Yes. You and I have both been and did not want to come home, actually. By the way, Ferrier with his second foul. And that's big news for Stephen F. Austin. They're already down a big with Gardner out because of the ankle injury. And Becca Meyer to the line, 84% there. She's a 1,000-point career scorer. And we'll drop that one in. Another one coming.
Watch her free throw routine here. She's going to bounce it 3 times. I asked her who taught her to shoot the basketball, and she said it's actually Molly Miller, the current head coach at Arizona State. She said, I went to one of her basketball camps when I was little. My parents then had Molly start working out with me one-on-one, and Molly taught me from a young age, 3 bounces, keep that rhythm, and she's kept it ever since. By the way, we wish Molly Miller good luck. Right now, she's not with her team in Iowa, recovering from a little bit of a virus, and she has that Arizona State team in that NCAA tournament. We wish her well.
Taylor Walker will draw the foul by Janiyah Bush. Janiyah Bush, the 5'3" freshman, committing that personal. Not in the act of shooting. Roseby up top. She's been pretty quiet so far. 13 points a game and 7 rebounds. Here's Kemp using the screen. Shot clock down to 8. Almost threw it away. At midcourt, the save back to Roseby. Shot clock's down to 3 now. She will give it up. Here comes Dominguez and short with it.
Boy, a defensive clinic by Missouri State. They are switching high and hot. They're talking to the ball from behind the action. Really well done.
Good ball movement here to Bush. And drains it from three-point land.
I think she's a tough little cover, man. Only 5'3" out of St. Louis, but a small, good shooting point guard. 21 made threes now on the year.
Maybe their best shooter, and that spin will not land in the net. Dominguez with the miss. And now Missouri State in the closing minutes of the first quarter with a chance to really get a grip on this thing. And that's exactly what's happening.
Better not let her have airspace. You back off of her. That is on you. A high IQ, sees the floor as good as anybody, certainly at the mid-major level.
Again, just 5'9".
Yeah.
But plays a very big game. And now the Lady Jacks of Stephen F. Austin, they need an answer. They need a hot hand, and it's not coming on that shot by Taylor Walker. Second effort not there. Another loose ball. Becca Meyer coming out of the pack with it. And the Lady Bears of Missouri State. Oh, the momentum swished in by Faith Lee. An 11-0 run.
Well, their defense has ignited their offense. They have a ton of confidence on the defensive end. You can get hot as an offensive team, Obi. You can also get hot in this tournament defensively, and that is the start for this team from Springfield.
Taylor Walker working hard. No, following her own miss. Yes. That's a shot they desperately needed.
Well, they can get their full court press set up a little bit. Stephen F. Austin, they want to play fast, but they have actually been sped up so far in this first quarter.
Becca Meyer turns and drives but can't finish it. She battles for her own miss, kept it alive, and that shot won't go by Lee. 21-10 Missouri State. Taylor Walker right now taking a shot every time down and buries another one.
Well, as Stephen F. Austin, their offense is a lot of one-on-one isolation. And if they can win their one-on battle, they got a chance for those mid-range pull-up shots. Taylor Walker, one of the best ones doing it.
Walker with 10. Lee with another miss. One and done on that possession. Dominguez finds some room and hits a 3.
O.B. Leonard Bishop knows his team because he had a chance to call a timeout and he didn't do it. And look at this run because of it. It was 21-8. I thought he might call a timeout, trusting his kids to finish off this first quarter with a flurry.
The steal, another make there by Dominguez. Suddenly a 3-point game. And they're all over the place defensively. They had Beckemeyer in the corner and knocked out a play by Stephen F. Austin.
The team in purple thrives in chaos, and Leonard Bishop, I'm sure in his gut he was thinking, do I call my second timeout in this game? But he trusted his kids to handle the pressure moments, and they responded. Boom, back-to-back turnovers, back-to-back makes, and a big lead is down to 3 just like that.
And on a 10-0 run.
Yeah.
they were on the verge of starting to get blown away. And look at this, 10-0 over the last minute 19.
Obi, I've been there as a coach. Man, you trust your gut right now as much as analytics and what it says about timeouts. And man, big-time job by Leonard Bishop.
On the money by Bruggen, Kendall Bruggen, the 5'10 freshman, to make it 24-18. Out of the corner, the jumper, nothing but net right there at the buzzer, knocked down by Micah Perry. What an end to that quarter, 24-21 Missouri State.
Yeah, they owned, Stephen F. Austin owned the last 2 minutes. And Leonard Bishop said, I got a team that understands how to get this game going. And the buzzer beater, boom, at the end of the first quarter. Good one here in Austin. Stephen F. Austin team, OB, they make threes and they make layups. That's who they are. Their defense triggers their offense, and they close out that quarter on a 13-3 run. Really well done by the Lady Jacks to fight their way right back into this game.
Second quarter underway. SFA was down 13 with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, and now a 3-point game. A furious rally and a foul inside. Barrier will take the hits.
She's a very fast 6'1" athlete for a true freshman. Led her Frisco Liberty High School team here in Texas to the 2024 state championship. And getting extended minutes tonight with the injury to the starting post player, Cha Gardner. We don't have an update on yet, but
Faith Lee picks up her second, one of the starters from Missouri State. And Ferrier at the line, 63%. We'll have another one coming.
Talking to her today, she had perfect attendance, as Isaiah Fair did for 4 years in high school. The only time she missed was for sickness, and we asked her, where did that come from? Quickly, my mom's a teacher.
My mom's a teacher.
If we're having school, you're going. And
she also told you, I really, really like school.
Yeah, loves it.
Washington.
Good cut.
Nice dish. And they run that play very effectively.
I just think you have to cut the backside of the pressure against Stephen F. Austin. They do kind of load to the ball a little bit, and you can get some good action on the backside if you do.
Roseby up top and knocks down another one. She's 35% out there.
Yeah, made 55 in the regular season. It's a very good shooting team from Nacogdoches, Texas.
Very big part of their attack. Washington will zip the pass. Bounce back inside to her, and she'll finish it.
Boy, back-to-back good off-ball cuts by Missouri State. Maisha Washington with that make. I actually lived about 4 houses down from Maisha Washington, 15 and white in Arkansas for several years. Watched her grow up, making shots on the driveway.
And a block by Douglas. She's so good at that. Just blocked 7 in the conference tournament final. And a quick turnover back over to Stephen F. Austin. Now, did you walk down the street a couple of houses and, maybe bring a glass of lemonade and say, hey, maybe try this, follow through with that jump shot?
I did not. She was coaching Fayetteville, Arkansas by a high school coaching legend there by the name of Vic Rimmer. Then she transferred to Texas for her junior and senior year, won a state championship. But 15 and white's going to have a heck of a career as a college basketball player.
She'll knock that one down. Ferrier with another one. It's actually the #1 shot blocker on the team, only about 6 points a game, but it's a tight one early in the second quarter. Beckemeyer didn't shoot it, gave it up instead, got that one down low to Douglas. She couldn't finish it, and now a whistle, and she'll commit the foul.
I thought Douglas had a chance to go up on the left side of the rim, maybe pivoted herself out of a good shot for a tough shot. She gets that ball on the inside right there, just power up through, you're going to draw contact. Instead, she tries to find the backside of the rim. Then the frustration foul to reach in from behind. Missouri State team that they need Lainey Douglas to play her 25, 26 minutes a game.
Ferrier in the paint, and nice touch. Will drop that one in. And Stephen F. Austin now with a 29-28 lead, their first lead tonight.
Doesn't she have good instincts for a freshman moving on the inside of that defense?
Yep.
I mean, 6'1", fast.
Smart shot by Washington. Nobody came up to guard.
And that's the shot I would watch her make in the driveway, driving in and out of the neighborhood when she was a little kid.
Trailer Walker off to Perry. A lot of traffic there, and Douglas again gets the deflection. Boy, she gets her her hands on a lot of shots. 7:34 to go here in the second quarter. Stephen F. Austin just won their second straight Southland Conference tourney with a win over the #1 seed McNeese State, who beat them by 27 points just 10 days earlier.
Yeah, think about that. And they come back and beat them in the conference finals. That's the kind of stories that get written in March, right? But she is so good. I love this kid. For a true freshman, her instincts, how quick she is in and out of ball screens, sprint up screen action. She is a handful in that freshman class.
Tie up here. Possession arrow will keep it on this end of the floor. But the Lady Jacks of Stephen F. Austin have made 9 of their last 10. They have caught fire. That was with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter when it looked like they were about to get blown out of this building on the Texas campus.
I'm talking about Isaiah Fair there. And think about it. She's the backup 5 for Stephen F. Austin and led the Southland Conference in block shots. I mean, that's a kid that comes in and doesn't gradually get in the flow of the game. She comes in, scores offensively, blocks shots, sets fast ball screen actions.
Beckemeyer quiet over the last few possessions. Trying to swing it downstairs for Douglas. It will be tipped out of play by Stephen F. Austin.
I sense that Stephen F. Austin is starting to take the airspace away from Beckemeyer, 24 in white, because she shoots it too good, too much of a rhythm player.
Washington's open, can't bury it. Perry with the rebound, a sophomore out of Norman, Oklahoma. And another double-figure scorer for the Lady Jacks. Traylor Walker backs it away. Under 7 minutes to go before halftime. Now she'll drive it inside and draw the foul.
Boy, she is crafty though, right? I mean, again, you're just, if you're Leonard Bishop right now, you're trusting your athletes, keeping the floor spaced, and she utilizes the back dribble right there to drag that defender out. And as soon as that defender went with her, it was a blow-by down that right side, and just really good offense.
You made a great observation about Leonard Bishop deciding not to use a timeout when his team was getting run off the floor, because he knows his kids so well, and they immediately rallied.
Well, I thought it was great today, asking him who has had the most influence on you as a coach. He said, my dad, first of all, which was his high school coach. He was actually high school teammates, Leonard was, with Chris Bosch. They were the national champions, crowned Chris's year in high school ball. And then Nolan Richardson and Rick Pitino. And you look at how those two coaches coach the game. Pressure defense, athletes on at all 5 spots.
Boy, tough shot by Douglas, surrounded by purple, but got it to go. 1-point game. Yeah, he had no hesitation talking about his dad. Immediately said, well, my dad, #1. That's the #1 coaching influence I'll ever have in my life. A legendary high school coach for decades.
I just think when you grow up the son of a coach and you've been around the game your entire life, those decisions within the game for a head coach right now, they just come from your gut. You've heard all the scenarios, all the dinner conversations, and it pays off.
Got to get a heave up there with the shot clock expiring. It never got to the iron, so a turnover there. And that will be their 6th.
If you're Missouri State right now, if you're Beth Cunningham, you come in, it would be you're only averaging 65 points a game. You've got to choke the game back down. This can't get into the 70s. It does not favor Missouri State.
A great job by Washington to scoop up the loose ball and lay it in. And Cunningham's team back in front. So back and forth we go. Traylor Walker with a miss. 1 and done there. Beckemeyer scored all 11 of her points in the first and misses here. So she has cooled off, and as you said, they are making sure she does. Back inside, trying to scoop and deflected out of play by the Lady Jacks.
Well, but she is all gas, no brakes, right? Caitlin Beckemeyer was the 6th player of the year last year in the Missouri Valley Conference. This is their first year in Conference USA, and has made the leap to first-team All-Conference USA this year.
5'9", only 4 other Division I players 5'9" or shorter can claim more rebounds than Beckemeyer. 8 rebounds a game. Hopkins off to Washington. Shot clock to 7. Washington to the left hand, no. And scooped up once again by Beckemeyer. Here's a shot right before the shot clock was expiring, and that won't drop. The second effort won't fall. Washington bottled up, gets it outside. And a fresh possession here for the Lady Bears. Cayman Beckemeyer on the drive. Scoop shot, two.
I'm going to guess that Beckemeyer gets 80% of every 50-50 ball that she has a chance to get.
Kemp driving, banks it in. Very quickly on the other end, Kaylin Kemp.
Well, you don't want to go against that Missouri State half-court defense for 40 minutes. So scoring your transition push.
A sloppy play as Missouri State throws it away. SFA trying to retake the lead. Here in Austin, Texas. Long one on the way, and that rattles home by Kajus.
I just feel like the game flow is too fast for Missouri State. They cannot afford, I don't think, for this game to creep into high 70s or 80s. It's just not how they're built. Beckemeyer's a kid that can go for over 20, but after that, it can become a short list. And the Lady Jacks, down early, have found their groove.
15-point lead, but now it's Stephen F. Austin in the lead, guys. We'll see you at the half.
Kels, thank you very much. Listening to Beth Cunningham at her practice earlier today, Jimmy and I were here, is like listening to Muffet McGraw. I mean, it sounds tonally and her approach a lot like Muffet. Of course, she was on Muffet's staff through many, many great years at Notre Dame, where she was an amazing player, scored over 2,300 career points as well.
Obi, her senior year, Beth Cunningham, in the NCAA tournament, they came down here and beat the number three seed Texas on St. Patrick's Day. And she told me yesterday, she said, Jimmy, there was one row of green behind our bench, and the rest of the Irwin Center was filled with that Texas burnt orange. And they came in here and won and propelled Notre Dame to Final Four. She had 29 in that game. She came to Austin with a focus and a purpose and delivered really one of the all-time greats, not just at Notre Dame and women's college basketball, when you start looking at all of her accomplishments.
Left South Bend as the #1 scorer at that time in school history.
That's what I'm talking about. Propelled herself after playing into the coaching, and there she comes to Missouri State after being an assistant for Carol Lawson at Duke. And she told me, she said, the last official recruiting visit I had at Duke with Carol Lawson was a home visit with Madison Booker. We didn't get her. She came to Texas, but she said we were right there at the end, and Madison Booker sitting down here to our left in the end zone watching this one because they take on the winner on Friday.
Just named first-team All-American again. Scoop, that won't drop. Washington with the rebound. And Kendall Bruggen, the 5'10 freshman, was born in Germany. Quickly into the offensive zone. Here's Macy James, tied at 38. It's been a fascinating game to this point. Washington lets fly and knocks it down.
They just shoot it too good, Missouri State does. You back off, and kids like Washington, not great from the three-point line, but you break her down on film. She is really good, that 15, 16-foot pull-up shot.
Dominguez off for Perry. Perry to drive it. Tough shot, no. Bruggen will let it fly. And a rebound by Washington came right to her. Back up and in. She's tough to stop.
But, Obi, that was kept alive by Beckemeyer again, just winning every 50-50 ball. 24 and wide is that she's just in the vicinity of.
Back outside. Roseby can't hit it. And it'll go the other way with 2:09 to go before halftime here in Austin.
Some kids just make winning plays, and that describes Beckemeyer right here. She just comes running in from that left corner, and the tap of the ball, it ends up in Washington's hands. And that's one of those hustle assists that coaches chart when they go back and break down a film.
Missouri State bringing Angel Scott, the senior, onto the floor. She transferred from Stephen F. Austin to Missouri State. She's going to launch a three and hit it.
There's too much airspace, and Leonard's going to use a timeout. He's frustrated right now with his defense. Just late closeouts, allowing Missouri State to get good vision of the rim.
Oh, look at that smile. That has meaning behind it. This is a 9-0 run. That's
just a short closeout. You can't do that at this level. Lady Bears, they don't rely heavily on the three-point shot, but their shot selection has improved the last couple of minutes. Muffet talked about it in the studio. They went for about a 4-minute stretch, probably playing a little too fast. I know Missouri State has a lead, but I'm sure that a little bit concerned, Beth, is that the scoring right now is on pace to be in the 90s. That's just not who they are. But sometimes the game dictates how you have to play, and you just keep on rolling with it.
Less than 2 minutes to go before the break. Let's take a look at our bracket tips. Brought to you by Allstate. Missouri State on top by 7. Top 3 seeds in the first round have done rather well. Only the huge upset there in '98 when a 16 Harvard shocked #1 Stanford.
Yeah, I think since 1994 when the tournament expanded 23 times, it's been a 1 seed that won it, 5 times a 2 seed, and 3 times a 3 seed.
Traylor Walker with a hard drive inside. ESPN Tournament Challenge is back. Brackets close Friday, so you can scan the QR code to fill out your Women's Tournament Challenge brackets. As the tournament is underway.
There'll be a lot of people feel like it's UConn's tournament to lose. I don't agree with that. I know they've been dominant. Their strength of schedule, only 58 in the country. I know they have AZ Fudd, Sarah Strong, 2 of the best 5 players in the country, but UCLA can hang with them. I think this Texas team right here can hang with them. Michigan earlier in the year only lost by 3, so we've got an absolute great 3 weeks ahead of us in this women's tournament championship.
I agree. Very excited to get a look at the Longhorns.
Yeah.
The theft here by James, it really fell right into her arms. Texas is loaded. They're a serious threat to win the national championship. And we will see them coming up on Friday on this floor. Becca Meyer bottled up and stolen away. Ferrier with the thefts. Is Dominguez way downtown.
Yeah, they call her Monty. That is Monty money is what that is. One of the best three-point shooters in college ball, your pickup point has to be higher than on most.
Armani Dominguez, the senior from New Mexico. When they have needed a big shot, they've gotten it from her today. James, in the final seconds, just 2 seconds separating the game in shot clock. Shot clock down to 7.
This is Becca Meyer time for the most part.
Becca Meyer looking to get a triple. That won't drop. Trying to heave this one. Juice got it off, but it will fall short, and Missouri State will have the lead at halftime here in Austin, 47-43. Traylor Walker with 14 to lead Stephen F. Austin. She's the one that really brought them back. They were down 13 points, she and Dominguez. So it's really tight at halftime, 47-43 in Austin. Of them with scintillating runs through their conference championship game to win. Leonard Bishop and his team winning their 2nd straight Southland, and Missouri State grabbing Conference USA as they knocked off the top 3 seeds in a great run. Who will come out of this one, the play-in game, to take on the #1 seed Texas, coming up on Friday on this floor.
Missouri State dominated the glass in the first half. Up 23 rebounds to 10. They have 12 offensive rebounds. The issue is only 13 points scored off those offensive rebounds.
Faith Lee, little follow away, but that didn't touch anything. So both sides with a miss right out of the gate as the second half is underway. And the follow is going to be up and good. Ferrier on the spot, the 6'1" freshman. Native of Frisco, Texas, just outside Dallas. Lady Douglas with a touch out of the triple. Got it free to Lee. Nice adjustment to lay it in.
Well, you know, both coaches charted what went down in the first half. Missouri State was much better against the zone defense. 8 out of 14 from the floor. Just 8 out of 20 man-to-man. And expect Stephen F. Austin to know that stat as well.
Traylor Walker 14 in the first half. Dominguez, quick release, but it's not there. The rebound comes free. A little bit lucky, and Roseby will lay it in.
Yeah, Roseby, just 6 double-figure rebound games on the year. Leading scorer. They run a lot of action for her.
Stephen F. Austin lost a big in Shaw Gardner, the 6'3" sophomore, to a badly turned ankle in the first half. She will not return. And she has come back to the bench, but out for the game with that right ankle. So 51-47 Missouri State. Off the turnover, here comes Beckemeyer. James, Lee jumping into the lane. Beckemeyer will back it out to Fire. They'll get another chance. Lee with a rebound. Back downstairs for Douglas. Oh, and an easy shot to make. Fouled on that one. She'll be headed to the line.
Well, the ones you have to make, right? That's a heck of a fine. And Missouri State has struggled with rim shots in this game. I mentioned 12 offensive rebounds in the first half and only 13 points off of those.
Ashlyn Traylor Walker with that big first half just picked up her second foul. And Kemp back on, the freshman point guard for the Lady Jacks, with Lainey Douglas to the line. Coming off 11 rebounds, 15 points, and 7 block shots. And a Conference USA title win against Louisiana Tech. Great game. And puts them up 53-47. The Lady Bears of Missouri State making their foul shots, 10 out of 12. Deflected, it'll stay on this end for Stephen F. Austin. SFA, good shooting and scoring team. 76 points a game. They can really get it rolling. Here's Kemp all the way through, but can't finish it.
Man, good action off the ball screen. Just trying to finish on the left side with the right hand. Oh, this is easy money for Beckemeyer.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. She is so good running to that slot 45. All shooters understand what I'm saying. The rim just looks good. OB on that 45-degree angle coming off of that elbow.
She has a big night. Their chances go up in a big way.
They better find her again.
She'll bounce it here for Lee. Got it. Knocked down a two-pointer. It's going to force a timeout for Leonard Bishop and Stephen F. Austin.
But Beckemeyer right now is the kid that's the most under control in this game. Not sped up, playing at her pace. And this is that slot 45 right there. Shooters know, man, remember this young lady is the Conference USA Tournament MVP. She went for 16 and 9 in that title game. And right now, Stephen F. Austin defensively, she's not even feeling them. Just too much airspace. I talked about it going to break, playing in her rhythm. And that is a problem when you play against Kingman Beckemeyer.
Turned over right into the hands of Bruggen. Now a scrum for that. And a tie-up on the play. Possession arrow will keep it on this end, with Missouri State leading at 58-47. Now, the last time there was a lead like this for the Lady Bears, SFA came storming back right at the end of the first quarter. They were down 13. And when you looked up at the end of the first quarter, it was a 3-point game.
Well, they did it, the team in purple, they made a couple of shots. Leonard Bishop got his defense pressure set. They scored off turnovers.
And a foul there on Traylor Walker. She went for the theft. She commits the personal. That'll be her third. Keep an eye on that. She was the top scorer going into halftime with 14.
You know, talking to Leonard Bishop today, one of the keys he talked about, defending without fouling. Missouri State, they get 16 points a game. They get there 22 times a game.
James finding the big. Douglas in close. Yes.
Just too much size. I mean, no quick help coming down on Douglas, allowing her to operate one-on-one on that low block.
Back outside Dominguez. That didn't touch anything. As that one out of play. So it might be uh-oh time for Stephen F. Austin, trailing by 13.
And here comes that full court press. And Leonard Bishop knows this is how we got back in the game in the first quarter. Trying to heat up that ball. A better job by the Lady Bears to attack it.
Lee finds herself open. That won't spin in. Rebound torn away by the Lady Jacks. Here they come. The handoff for Kajus, the 5'6" sophomore. He needed some help, gave up the dribble. And that's going to go the other way.
Yeah, frustration. That's that Missouri State defense. That time it was Macy James, Conference USA all-defensive team. Led the league in steals, but Right here, just that harassing defense, climbing up into the jersey, and afterwards, a little bit of a frustration push off. And that's exactly what Missouri State can do to you. They can rattle you and get you sped up. Just a frustration foul.
Up ahead for Scott. Washington will kick it out. Great ball movement. Washington buries the shot.
Yeah, not good ball movement, OB. Great ball movement. And good shooting teams are good passing teams, and 4 young ladies threw strikes to keep that thing moving hot.
13-0 run and a tie-up. Talk about tremendous ball movement here. Missouri State up by 15.
Well, good shooting teams are good passing teams. And all start off with that deep post touch. Comes right back out, kind of works the triangle action. And Washington, after she passed it out, didn't get stuck, found herself with that elbow. I love what Beth Cunningham told us today about Maisha Washington. She said you can tell her one time and she's got it. Just a high IQ for a freshman.
Big-time freshman indeed, named to the Conference USA All-Freshman team. Shot clock to 6. On the drive, and a shot they really needed. The basket by Traylor Walker.
If you can't sit down and guard yours when you're playing Stephen F. Austin, you can find yourself in trouble because it's pretty simple offense. They space the floor, run a little bit of ball screen action sometimes with the 5 coming up high. But they find those angles, they attack gaps well. And Beth Cunningham said the number one thing for us tonight with our defense, can we sit down and guard one-on-one?
Stolen away. Traylor Walker picks it up in midcourt.
This is their comeback offense, setting that press up.
Roseby, wild shot. In transition, here come the Lady Bears.
What a step.
Fast break, that's a one-man fast break. Bruggen lays it in.
She just competes like crazy, does Kendall Bruggen. A tremendous job at avoiding that defense in transition, sidestepped it, put a little reverse spin on it.
Traylor Walker going one-on-one against everybody. 14-point lead here for Missouri State with 4:36 to go in the third.
Kendall Bruggen was an all-state volleyball player also out of Heston, Kansas. She just competes her backside off, makes plays, fearless. Haven't talked to Vic Schaefer a lot yet. I do think Vic's team this year is better offensively than they've been the past couple of years. Not quite where they have been defensively, but certainly one of the teams that are right there with UConn, UCLA, Southern Cal, Michigan, Vanderbilt. I mean, it's a bunch of them, I think, that can find their way to Phoenix in that Final Four.
Yeah, he's been there before.
Yeah.
Knows how to get there. 64-52, and another turnover forced by Stephen F. Austin. This is how they get back in games. Rapid fire forcing those turnovers. Dominguez will kick it for Roseby. She'll drive it. Can't score it. Boy, they've missed a lot of layups.
I think they are below 50% in this game, Stephen F. Austin, on layups at the rim. It's very difficult to overcome that low of a number.
It'd probably be right there.
Yeah, no doubt.
Just a handful more makes. Lee can't connect. Loose ball and gobbled up by Stephen F. Austin.
Just looking big picture right now at this women's tournament. I wonder if UConn is going to ever feel the pressure of unbeaten perfection. Haven't seen any sign of it. I heard Gino talking about it. He hasn't seen any sign of that from his kids. At some point that could become a factor. They are, UConn, the #1 defensive efficiency team in the country. And AC Fudd and Sarah Strong, as much as we talk about them offensively, they are stars on the defensive end as well.
Becca Meyer underneath will drop in 2. Gino Auriemma, what he has done in his amazing career, I still think a little bit underrated on a national scale. I think that's a guy who could have coached any darn sport he wanted.
I agree.
To national championship contention, anything you wanted.
He's a lot like Pat Summitt at Tennessee. People said that Pat Summitt could have become the football coach, and she would have figured it out.
I think you're right.
She would have absolutely figured it out.
You and I both had the privilege of knowing her.
Yeah.
What an amazing, amazing leader and coach. Lee banking that one in back to the stars you were talking about, Strong and Fudd.
Well, AC Fudd is going to be one of the top players taken in the next WNBA draft. And You know, Sarah Strong right there is one of the best players in the country, if not the best. Michaela Blake's led the country in scoring, but those two kids right there are so efficient on both ends. And that UConn brand, they beat a lot of people before the game ever begins, and you cannot let that happen. Not easy to do, but look at the stars that are going to find their way into the WNBA next year. AZ Fudd from UConn, Olivia Miles from TCU, Lauren Betts from UCLA, Flau'jae Johnson from LSU. Cody McMahon's been terrific at Ole Miss this year. They're all going to find their name called in the top 7 or 8, I think, in the next WNBA draft.
You mentioned Kim Mulkey at LSU. Never look beyond them. They get a chance to play in Baton Rouge again. Final couple of minutes of the third quarter here in Austin, 68-54. Missouri State starting to settle in a little bit.
Obi, you mentioned Pat Summitt. Actually, I did. I brought her up. But one of the most enjoyable weeks of my career, she and I worked the WNBA playoffs together. There's a 3-man booth. I spent a week with her. I learned more ball from Pat Summitt, but more importantly, more about people, relationships, handling situations, the vision that she had as a leader. Just
traveling violation.
One of the great times in my basketball career was time spent with Coach Summitt.
I had the pleasure of covering a number of her teams, and when we were in Knoxville, she would invite everybody over, the entire crew, for dinner, and her mom would cook.
Yeah, I remember
Pat
those days.
would be in the kitchen cooking, and you're like, Pat Summitt is cooking us dinner. Then she'd show you around the house. Well, this national championship, and this is when we went to the White House, and this Olympic gold medal was incredible. Laid up and in. Stephen F. Austin on a quick strike.
Well, we know how they get back in the game. They get the defense going. They create turnovers. Keep the game sped up. But this is a bucket maker right here, man. I'm so impressed with Cayman Beckemeyer for everything that she does. Just durable. And plays as hard the 36th minute as she does the first.
And she has 20 and 8 rebounds. That's a typical night for her. She still has another quarter to go. Little fall away won't go for Traylor Walker, who's taking most of their shots.
Missouri State, when they're in the NCAA tournament, they expect to win. The last 3 times they've been in the NCAA, they've won their opening round game. It's a great basketball job in Springfield, Missouri. The Lady Bears are a hot ticket when they get it rolling. Look at Beckemeyer. She's got the total game. Those off-ball cuts. She can spin off pressure, make tough guarded twos, knock down enough threes. You have to honest guard her. Gets to the free throw line. Is the president of their FCA group there on the Missouri State campus.
Shot won't go for Kajust, and a foul on the play with 1:35 to go in the quarter. And a 12-point lead for Missouri State as they try to play their way to a meeting with #1 seed Texas. And the Lady Jacks to put it in. 3rd foul, by the way, on Bruggen of Missouri State. Dominguez back outside. Another one that won't fall for Kajus. She's usually very good beyond the 3-point line.
Yeah.
But a couple of misfires there. Tapped out a play by Stephen F. Austin.
Obi, it's been from a coaching standpoint, I look at the game sometimes like it's been a very well officiated game. And you got to remember, these officials, there's 116 of them selected to work that first 4 in first round out of 3,000 Division I NCAA officials. So it's an honor for them to be here. So it's the best of the best. And it's been a well officiated game so far.
It has been, and they blow the whistle on a foul as Douglas lays it in. Eric Koch, Kylie Galloway, and Nicole Brandon, the officials here tonight.
This young lady just has a really good feel inside. The seal off shows a target hand. Terrific job by Washington to pass that ball. There is no high-low if you take away the high, and Stephen F. Austin didn't do it, and Washington just picked him apart with a really nice pass.
Well, Beckemeyer will get a little bit of a rest as Lee comes in with a minute to go before the 4th quarter. And Douglas back to the line and completes a 3-point play. So it is back up to 15. And a whistle off the ball here as Kemp was getting ready to deliver a pass. foul will go on Scott. Number 1 for her for Missouri State.
They have defended well without fouling, Missouri State. Only 9 free throw attempts right now for Stephen F. Austin. Talked about in the first half, they really emphasize playing with a championship chest. Don't open up, don't give angles.
Perry off the inbounds will lay it in.
Just a slick play by Perry. Actually started her career at Florida in the SEC. Took a couple of years off for kind of a self-help period in her life, but man, she is thriving right now.
Lee on the attack, deflected. Washington with the save. And knocked out of play. 43.7 to go in the third quarter. We've got a timeout and a 13-point lead for Missouri State. Here in the play-in game, the first 4 from Austin, Texas. But by the way, it's going to get up to about 95 degrees over the next couple of days. It's going to be sunny, but very hot here.
Yeah.
On the topic of sizzling.
Well, this has been Becca Meyer, and no surprise, a Conference USA Tournament MVP, leading scorer for the Lady Bears all year long, and she gives it to you in every area. So smart, so tough, and so good. Can stick that 3 ball, you give her airspace, she can come off of it right or left, operating off those ball screens. She got the pull-up jump shots, understands game flow, doesn't get sped up in transition, plays to her speed and her rhythm. As good as you're going to find at that mid-major level, and just a bucket getter, highly productive, one of 7 in the nation with at least 570 points, 270 rebounds, and does it at 5'9".
Turned over, a blocking foul on the other end of the floor in a 13-point game. And Lydia Kajust hit on the play. She'll be headed to the line.
Well, this is Stephen F. Austin's game. They come at you with speed, and all 5 kids can handle that ball in transition. They put pressure on the rim quickly. When you're coaching against a team like this, I've been there before, no lead feels safe, and I'm sure that's what Beth Cunningham is feeling right now. A chance to go up double digits heading into the 4th quarter, but a long ways to go against a team that can strike this fast.
Kajust, the sophomore out of Dallas. Got married this past summer to AJ Kajust, who played on the SFA men's basketball team. And misses on number 2.
Yeah, AJ was a really good point guard. He was a senior and she was a freshman, and here we are.
Last seconds of the 3rd quarter. Missouri State with the ball and the lead by 12.
They're sitting in that zone, and Becca Meyer's the one you've got to keep an eye on.
Bounce feed downstairs. It goes out for Washington, and she connects again.
I say, man, dude, they move the ball well, Missouri State.
Right at the end of the 3rd. Up top, long one on the way, and that won't drop for Kemp. That's how the 3rd quarter comes to an end with Missouri State, the Lady Bears, sitting pretty.
Well, the game dictates sometimes what you have to do, and Missouri State is caught up right now in a high-scoring game, but man, are they okay with it. The reason why, they're not turning it over, they're good off the ball screen action, and they pass that thing to perfection right now. The ball stays hot, and Missouri State 10 minutes away from advancing to play Texas. Here's the problem for UConn. AZ Foot had 31, and Sarah Strong had 16 points and 20 rebounds. That's the issue with UConn. They absolutely have 2 of the best 5 players in all of college ball on the same team.
A quick turnover here for the Lady Bears in the opening seconds of the 4th. Stephen F. Austin needs a lot more of that as they have the ball back and trying to make a run. So their season doesn't end here tonight, and they continue to miss layups. Ferrier with another one in close, but couldn't get it to go. Becca Meyer with it. She's had a big night with a double-double. Into the lane, fires it up, can't hit it. Once again, Douglas working hard, can't connect. SFA 11 for 25 on layups and a turnover here. They have just missed a ton of relatively easy shots.
Yeah, they have. Now they have a turnover in that crowded corner. Cannot step back into your shot, cannot step back into your drive out of that corner.
And Missouri State badly out-rebounding them 37-18 after 3 quarters. Kamen Beckemeyer back up top. Bush will give it up. Shot clock down to 5. Douglas, a lot of traffic, can't hit it. And Kaylin Kemp, outstanding passer. One of the better ones in the country, is going to get 2 for herself here.
Yeah, she had a heck of a year for a freshman, and actually was a starter for most of the year, then had a leg injury that cost her the last 2 games to start.
Quickly on the other end, a basket by Kendall Bruggen, who could really get it and go. Her mom, Maggie, was a track and field athlete at Wichita State, so she inherited some of that talent.
Well, Stephen F. Austin right now, they have to have comeback offense. They also have to have comeback defense. In no way can they just trade baskets right now.
Dominguez with another miss in close. Beckemeyer out of the pack will slow it up now for the Lady Bears.
Obi, she just plays the game 24 and white at a different speed than everybody else. Just probes the defense, has good vision, takes great shots, has gravity ability about her, because got to always have an awareness of her.
Kemp with a drive and will lay it in, and a foul on the play. So Kaylin Kemp, the freshman out of Duncanville, Texas, trying to get them going here offensively.
There is no continuation in the women's game. And that would have counted in the men's game, but there's no intentional fouls, no loose ball fouls, no clear path fouls.
Foul on Bush.
No gather plays. A lot of things I like about the women's game rule-wise. Men should take a look at.
One thing I really like is
the quarters.
Women went to quarters several years ago. Would like to see the men go to quarters. Here's Kemp now.
Well, they square you up, don't they, Missouri State? They do not open up their hips. They lock you in, run you off that three-point line, send extra bodies to drivers. A very well-coached team by Beth Cunningham on the defensive end.
SFA will keep it with 7:15 to go, and they're down by 14.
Again, this is a Missouri State team in their conference tournament finals game. They held Louisiana Tech to 38 points. 3 out of the last 6 games, they've held opponents to 38 points.
Kemp again looking for a corner, but draws the foul on Faith Lee. That'll be her 3rd. Coverage of the NCAA Men's Championship continues on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For tournament game times and the network, go to NCAA.com. Great time of the year. Great time of the year. The men's and women's NCAA tournaments. Ferrier gets a block there. Douglas right back in her face. Perry, yes. Micah Perry with the basket, 77-65. She has 9 tonight. On the cut, Lee will lay it in.
I just don't know if Stephen F. Austin has comeback defense in him. Can you get back-to-back stops, back-to-back makes? So far, they have not shown me the ability to do it. Missouri State continues to ice that side ball screen, not letting that thing get to the middle.
Traylor Walker trying to get the shot up, blocking a foul on the play. And Lainey Douglas thought she had a clean block. She had 7 of those in the tournament title win against Louisiana Tech.
Comes from an athletic background. Her dad, Troy, played hoops at Washburn University in Topeka, Kansas. Her mom played tennis at Washburn. Maybe a little bit of the body. I don't see that one, but how about this? The Washburn University, one of the great nicknames in all of college sports. The Ichabods. The Washburn Ichabods. I actually lived in Topeka as a young kid. At one point, I wanted to be an Ichabod. I ended up being a Razorback, but at one point, I wanted to be an Ichabod.
Little Jimmy Dykes dreamed
wanted to be an Ichabod.
Of being an Ichabod.
Yeah.
When he grew up, but it never happened.
What? I never grew up?
I didn't say that, did I? I may have inferred that. You are childlike in so many ways. All the best ways, Jimmy. All the best ways. 79-67. More pressure.
Careful.
Scott trying to save it, can't do it. They will turn it over.
Plenty of time left if Missouri State gets rattled, which they haven't been except for about a 2.5-minute period in that first quarter. If you're Leonard Bishop, again, you coach like your dad did, and Nolan Richardson and Rick Pitino. It is pressure for 40 minutes, and they got 6:18 to turn this thing around.
It was a furious comeback at the end of the first quarter from down 13-3, and now they turn it over.
Hope is not a plan. You leave your feet like that, it seldom works out.
Scott is open. Can't drain the three. And the Lady Jacks with a rebound, needing a run to cut in under 6. Farrier, no. One and done.
And I would expect Beth Cunningham, look at her right now, got her hands up. She's guarding her own team right now, OB. Slowing this thing down, not putting it on ice, but man, making sure we get that ball moved side to side. Cut down on our turnovers.
Turnover trying to feed Douglas there.
It's just misery. Up 12. When you're trying to advance in this women's tournament, against a team that can go on an 8-9-0 run at any second. Very uncommon play for Becca Meyer to turn that thing over.
And 2 in a row for them. Trailer Walker will give it up all the way through, and a foul on the play. That's Douglas again going for the block.
And now on the next one, it's going to be bonus time for Stephen F. Austin. So I know that's a 12-point game. Could be 10 right here, but the foul trouble now starting to work in Leonard Bishop's favor. Man, it's just so hard to put a team away in this tournament. Doesn't matter if it's a 16 versus 16 or Vic Schaefer will wake up Friday morning thinking the same thing. It's just hard to put someone away.
Roseby at the line. She said a quiet scoring night, averaging 13. And makes the pair. Good foul shooter. Both sides good foul shooting teams. Missouri State 75% and the Lady Jacks 74%.
And Obi, here comes that press. You can run the baseline right now. The second cut normally what gets you open. Whoa.
Rugen in the open floor, deflected away, and a little offense by accident right to Becca Meyer.
How many times have I said that she just has a knack, Becca Meyer?
Perry tried to reverse, no. Well, you've said it throughout the night. It's been true every time.
Yeah.
She's had a big night, and they needed it. 22 points, 13 rebounds for Cayman Becca Meyer.
She grew up wanting to be a Lady Bear. From Republic High School, just maybe 10 miles from that Missouri State campus.
Rugen, an ill-advised pass picked off by the Lady Jacks.
Former Wall, stop the ball.
On the spin move, in close finish by Roseby.
They formed a wall, but it was too low. That wall's got to be around that free throw line. There's a lot of game pressure right now in Missouri State. You can just kind of feel it in the building. The team in purple down 10, trying to grab momentum with 4:20-something to go. 25, 24, just look at the monitor.
Washington. Scott, who used to play for Stephen F. Austin. Becca Meyer floating it up there. The shot clock was winding down. It never got to the rim. And it's a 10-point game.
Beth Cunningham's going to have to calm her team down right now. They have a 10-point lead, but for the first time in the second half.
Thank you very much. A look at our Regional 3 Fort Worth bracket, where number 1 Texas is waiting for the winner of this game. Just 4 minutes to go in one of the seasons of Stephen F. Austin or Missouri State. Right now, 10-point advantage for the Lady Bears.
OB, the toughest regional is the one you're in, and the Duck probably understands that right now under Leonard Bishop's bench.
Yeah, they're lucky tournament, Duck. It's brought them success in a couple of conference tournaments, winning those tournaments, but will it work tonight?
Heard Carolyn Peck and Muffet McGraw talking about it. Selection Sunday said the same thing as a coach. Can talk about this regional is the toughest. No, the toughest is the one that you're in.
Rugen's up to Becca Meyer. And now the Lady Bears can afford to run a little bit of clock, ahead by 10.
Yeah, they just don't want live ball turnovers right now. You don't want a turnover at all, but if it is, make it a dead ball turnover, not a live ball. When keeping in 24's hands, you got a pretty good chance to close this thing out.
Shot clock down to 6. Lee with a fall away. Rebounded away by the Lady Jacks. They need a hot hand to cut in here. Just 3:15 to go. Long one coming, and that'll clang off by Roseby. Get a second chance and up and in as Micah Perry stayed with it at 6-1.
Yeah, where's the press? I thought the press would jump on him, and
now
wait
the trap.
wait till the timeline. Almost got it.
James getting free out of there. Washington. Washington's had a very nice night as she'll turn and head to her right.
What a play.
Drop it in.
What a move by Washington. Understand, I got a size advantage. Poised and patient in the paint. Man, for a true freshman, that is some good stuff.
18 points tonight. Rebound coming out high. And Bruggen will get across midcourt and run some clock.
Missouri State, Obi, they have 3 timeouts. If they get hung up or they don't like the possession, they can certainly burn one right now. Good job coming out of that timeout to maintain this double-figure lead.
Washington feeds Lee a dribble down. Got a good look. Stephen F. Austin hanging in it, but 2 minutes to go. Kajus lets fly off the front of the iron. One and done. So hope's beginning to fade pretty rapidly now for Stephen F. Austin, who just won their 2nd consecutive Southland Conference tournament. And a reach and a foul. They'll stop the clock at 1:49.
There's just something about programs that come to this tournament and they expect to win, and that's Missouri State. I said it earlier. Their last 3 NCAA appearances, they've won 1 game. And some programs believe and some programs hope, and Missouri State's one of those that believe, even as a 16 seed. They're 145 away from advancing to take on the 1 seed Texas on Friday.
Roseby just picked up her 3rd foul. James outside. Washington wants it. Into the paint. And tied up on the play, and that'll get the possession arrow for Stephen F. Austin. So they'll win it. 1:35 on the clock here, 10-point game.
So if you're Stephen F. Austin right now, you're coming down, you're looking for the quick wins. If you're Missouri State, if you're going to switch, stay above that 3-point line, guard that ball.
Dominguez with a quick trigger, no.
Yeah, really well done. Just forced a tough one. Everybody sealed off. All 5 kids were boxing off when the shot went. I mentioned earlier, Missouri State has only been over 80 points once since January 4th, but they got caught up in a game that they were comfortable with the rhythm and the pace. Good job of Beth Cunningham to read the room and understand, hey, this is not typically what we do, but we're confident in doing it.
Beckemeyer threw it away. She had no place to go with it. It's out of bounds to Stephen F. Austin with 1:16 to go. So they're not out of the woods yet. Stephen F. Austin shoots a lot of threes. Let's see how they handle this last minute of play. Back outside, Dominguez couldn't get it away. Passes it up. Here's a Perry shot, and that didn't touch anything as it goes out. And back over to Missouri State. Under a minute to play here.
A really good job by Missouri State to stay stuck on shooters on penetration. There's no reason to come off right now. Twos don't worry you. On any penetrating drive, those white jerseys were hugged up, but wanted to stay right there at home, represent Republic Missouri High School. That's a proud basketball program. They've averaged about 2,500 right now, just growing under Beth Cunningham and close to advancing, getting their 4th NCAA win out of the last 4 times they've been in the tournament.
Beckemeyer with it. 50 seconds to go. And a 10-point lead.
Whoa.
And that one free. And we do have a whistle with 43.9 to go. Bodies flying here as Stephen F. Austin is selling out in the final seconds. As that one rolled out of play with with a 10-point lead here for Missouri State, and Key Roseby will come back on, one of their better three-point shooters. ESPN Tournament Challenge men's and women's brackets are open, so download the app or scan the QR code to get started. Create a group, invite your friends, get ready for the madness with the #1 bracket game, the men's game, closing tomorrow at noon Eastern, the women's on Friday morning at 11:30 a.m. A foul here on that play, and the officials are now going to get together and go to the scorer's table.
Well, we know the horn works.
With 43.9.
I don't think there was possession. Is that what it was? Why we're not shooting the free throws? Yeah.
Foul was number 4 on Macy James of the Lady Bears. And now the officiating crew will talk this over again. And both sides will head to their benches as they do so.
Well, let's talk big picture a little bit then. Most NCAA appearances as a 1 seed, UConn with 23. Right behind them, Tennessee with 22, Stanford with 13. Tennessee, the only team in the country, OB, that's played in all 44 women's NCAA tournaments. I believe they're a 10 seed this year up in Michigan. Tim Caldwell's team kind of struggled down the stretch in SEC play. All eyes right now are going to be on those 1 seeds primarily. UConn, UCLA, Texas, who you and I will see on Friday. I think
the ruling
Texas
on the court is a team control foul against Missouri State. Stephen F. Austin is appealing that ruling.
Appeals in women's basketball. There are no challenges in a women's game, as we know them in men's basketball.
Well, they're appealing if there's a change of possession.
Give you a look at that scrum.
Yeah, we can't. I don't see how you could ever say there was possession change there. White was the last to have possession of it. Maybe right there they could say that Perry had possession for a split second on the spin. Right here, yeah, maybe you could say that Perry had possession as she spun away with it.
Officials Eric Koch, Kylie Galloway, and Nicole Brannon in the last 43.9 looking for change of possession. This will determine whether they shoot foul shots or not. So a 10-point lead for Missouri State. Leonard Bishop and his side running out of time.
Mentioned it earlier. This is different than the men's game. There are no loose ball fouls. You penalize for free throws, and
After review, there was not ever a change of team control. The ruling of a team control foul is confirmed. Stephen F. Austin will be charged with a 60-second timeout, as that is all they have remaining.
So that's the risk you take. You get as many appeals as you want, but if you lose it, you lose a timeout.
And you can also appeal even if you don't have a timeout, but if it's not successful, then it's a administrative technical foul.
Technical foul, yeah. So 43.9. And no foul charge to Macy James on the play. And Stephen F. Austin to get it in.
You stay above the three-point line if you're Missouri State.
Dominguez way downtown, no. They'll get another opportunity, but precious seconds ticking away here for the Lady Jacks. Kemp will drive it. Got it up and made a layup, but they've missed a ton of those tonight. A timeout. That's Missouri State and Beth Cunningham. This is the closest that Stephen F. Austin has been in a long time, but 26.6 to go.
Well, and look at the shooting number for Stephen F. Austin. Only 6 out of 28 from the three-point line. They came in averaging 9 makes a game at 37%. So Beth's defense tonight has done a really good job of running shooters off the line, forcing Stephen F. Austin to make tough twos, and they have struggled. They have missed a ton of layups. Talking about Stephen F. Austin, 16 out of 33 at the rim.
Wow.
Missed layups.
man.
And they're only down 10, but they'll go back and look at this film and look at time and time again the number of missed shots right at the rim in this game.
Mo State closing in on a big win here in the play-in game. And a date with Texas, the home team, here at the Moody Center on Friday, and the #1 seed here. And an absolute powerhouse with eyes on a national championship. So far, it's been a great night for the Lady Bears of Missouri State. They have the basketball. Kendall Bruggen tied up. And they are going to call it a tie-up. Possession arrow will keep it on this end. So it will be Missouri State ball. Bruggen not necessarily one of their best foul shooters. Washington does get it in. James, who's 64%. They reach and foul with 18.9 to go.
Good job at Missouri State in their press breaker, OB, to break away from the ball first and then the foot race back to the ball. Kind of similar to the football play we see right now that's so popular, but Beth just started her kids in bounds and ran away from it, came right back to it. Here they go again. Need some help.
Over the top, Rebecca Meyer, and another foul.
No surprise. She's so smart. Just posted up like a post player on the low block and sealed off, saying, hey, just throw it out in front of me behind my head and I'll finish off this game. An absolute coach on the floor Beth Cunningham has in Cayman Beckemeyer.
Trying to burn those fouls. They do it quickly. James this time. Macy James, the senior. And so this will mean 2.
And Macy James doesn't score, but she is absolutely a tone setter for this Missouri State team. This kid on the free throw line. Spent 2 years at Butler Community College in Kansas, then went to Pittsburgh State. Got that team to the Division II Final Four last year. The Pittsburgh State Gorillas, by the way, another great nickname. Just a strong, tough, defensive-minded point guard. 84 steals on the year.
Yeah, hit 6 in one game against New Mexico State. So she's dangerous around the ball. 16.6. She'll get another shot. And James makes the pair. Looked like a senior on those. Back to a 10-point lead. Kemp on the drive, the kick out. Trevor Walker can't finish. And another tie-up on the play. The possession arrow will go to Stephen F. Austin.
Yeah, just clearly the more physical team was Missouri State tonight. And you don't always have to look at the numbers or come up with that analysis, but plus 49 rebounds to 30. Big story in this game.
Final seconds in for Perry. Left it short. And that's going to do it. That's going to be our final score tonight. Mo State moving on. They will take on Texas. They win the play-in game 85-75 is the final score. Their 4th straight opener win in the last 4 appearances.
This tournament needs Mo State.